In this day and age of instantaneous information, it is unacceptable to not investigate the organization you intend to interview with beyond the most fundamental level. To demonstrate your interest and preparedness for the interview, it is helpful to be familiar with the company's senior management and the industries in which it operates, but you should also be familiar with the company's competitors and their recent success. Students frequently overdo it when they arrive at an interview, dressed to impress and ready to talk about themselves, but they lose interest when the topic shifts to the company. In order to convince the interviewer that you would be an excellent fit for the position, you must first familiarize yourself with the organization. Even if everything else about your response is perfect, a recruiter will not be interested if it shows that you are unaware of the organization. Furthermore, why should an employer consider you for a position if you haven't researched the firm beforehand? Spend some time pursuing a company's website, particularly the About Us section, rather than trying to commit the entire profile to memory. Another common practice before on campus recruiting events is information workshops. If your employer is holding one, you should plan to be there. Your enthusiasm for the organization will be even more evident if you do this. Therefore, it is imperative that you show up to any company information sessions, regardless of how well prepared you feel. Take advantage of every chance you get to make a good impression. Another strategy that works is to prepare questions about the company that demonstrate your research. These questions can be asked during the interview. In the sixth segment of this course, we will get into this topic thoroughly. Now that we know what to look for in a company, we can prepare for the interview. For business research, where should you seek for the best resources? Always check the company's website first when doing research. Additionally, you can check out websites which provide yearly reports on company specific research. There is also a website that provides extensive research on several industries. Sites like Glassdoor allow prospective employees to learn information about a company that isn't available on their own website. You can discover a lot of useful information on websites like Glassdoor, including income data, job descriptions, employer ratings, recruiting procedures, and more. Check your LinkedIn connections for anyone who has or is now employed by the firm. And if that's the case, give them a call before you go in and inquire about the business, its policies, and anything else that pertains to your position. You can also bring up your in-house reference during the interview if the timing is right. These days, reference checks are standard practice for any employer, and it also helps to have one from inside the organization. This organization places a premium on your talent and expertise. Read between the lines of job ads to find out what the employer is looking for in an applicant. If you want to know what kinds of people an employer is looking for, you may check out their career page. You should also talk to the people who work there now and find out what the company appreciates most. Approaching someone through LinkedIn can also be highly beneficial in these types of situations. Important members of the group, you might say, that are the company's most senior executives. Anyone from department heads to the chief executive officer or president of the organization can fall under this category. Read the company's About page and employee biographs to learn who these important individuals are. To find out what workers are saying about the company online, it is smart to follow these people on Twitter and, of course, LinkedIn. Knowing what the company has been up to recently is a smart move before going into a job interview. Press releases and company events often have their own page on most company websites. Here you may get all the information you need about the most recent news and updates from the organization. Buying the news and updates is not anything I'm requesting of you. Spend no more than 15 to 20 minutes pursuing the website to get a feel of the big picture, latest information and updates. You should be prepared to discuss any of these points in your meeting with the recruiting manager. Instead, if you are interested in knowing more about the company and are aware of its happenings, you can always take advantage of this opportunity to do so. Knowing the company's goals and objectives will give the confidence to assert that you will fit in well with their culture during any job interview. According to research, 43% of HR experts rank cultural fit as the most critical trait in a candidate for a job. According to popular belief, diverse individuals who work together toward a common goal are invariably very effective team members. Who among us wouldn't want to be a part of a group whose members all share our values? Pay close attention to the employees' stated values and mission on their website while you conduct your investigation. If you follow the company on social media, you can find out more about its culture. You are absolutely correct. Platforms such as Facebook and LinkedIn, it is important for a prospective employee to have a general notion of the duties that would be assigned to them if employed. If you want to impress the interviewers and show that you're serious about the position, it helps to have a rough understanding of the company's target market and the goods and services they provide. Last but not the least, make sure you know who will be conducting the interview. Your chances of making a connection and starting a meaningful conversation with the interviewer will increase if you do this. If you're having trouble identifying the interviewer, you might want to look in the confirmation email for the person's name. If you're unable to locate any information, kindly respond to the email inquiring about the individual who will be conducting the interview with you. Find the interviewer on social media platforms like LinkedIn and Twitter when you get their name. Discovering the interviewer's history, role within the organization, and even shared interests can be enlightening. Start a meaningful conversation by utilizing those shared grounds. Believe me when I say that if you can nail this one component, you're in. However, you should disregard it and go on if you're unable to discover any links. Don't try to infer anything or find relationships where none exist. Regardless, if they work for the same firm as you, they will see it on your resume and bring it up during the interview. Therefore, whether you liked working there or not, if you have a common ex employer, you should always speak positively about your ex employer. Never underestimate the power of a well placed compliment when it comes to making a good impression on an interviewer. Do not respond negatively to the interviewer in any way, even if they bring up the X company. Say something like, I understand, or I feel fortunate to have not experienced it when faced with such a situation, or simply remain silent. But if the company you're interviewing with is very small and doesn't have a website, if you're still having trouble locating information about the company, you can always give their human resources department a call and explain your interest in learning more about it. Everyone loves to brag about their workplace. Also, you might mention that you usually have no trouble finding out information about the company. I can assure you that this is quite okay, and in fact, it is the potential to be an excellent icebreaker and point of connection. It will speak volumes about you and your dedication to the company if you do this. So don't think twice. In these instances, pursuing the business's website will suffice. As soon as the human resources representative begins to brief you about the organization, make mental notes of the specifics they bring up so you can include them into your responses. Your best bet during an interview is to simply state, based on my conversation with the HR, and then identify the HR representative you spoke with. According to what I've read, it's a good idea to let the hiring manager know what interests you by mentioning your previous work on a comparable project and then expanding on your experience in that area. As I indicated before, researching the firm is important, but there is a drawback to devoting too much time in doing so. As researchers, we naturally want to show off our findings after putting in a lot of time and effort. So it's possible that completing an excessive amount of research can backfire at times. One of my clients lied during her interview at her ideal job by bringing up a recent article she read about the company's wage issues. Obviously, she lost the job after questioning the interviewer about their plans to handle the matter. It goes without saying that you should exclusively highlight the company's positive qualities during your interview. You need to have a productive conversation during your interview if you want to get the job. When you are a full time employee, you have more time to engage in depth conversations and disputes. Put off answering any questions you may have until you have aced the interview and become a member of the team.